Ladies and gentlemen, sorry, let me just change. For some reason, this phone will not change when I go from one room to another over to the different Wi-Fi addresses. Sorry about that. So I'll give us a few minutes. If you are live, please say hi. And if you're watching the replay, hashtag replay. Tell me where you're from. And what is your intention? What is your desire? What do you want to get out of our time together? So intention is really important, and is basically putting out into the universe what you want and what you desire. And so that way you can actually call it in. So oftentimes we just randomly hope and we want to command it in. And I'm just learning about this, so I won't teach too much about it, but we need to command, not hope or wish for or dream, but it's ethereal. It's way off in the distance. It's never going to happen. So that's not what we want. We actually want to command as if it already is going to happen and it's already done. So simply like, I am healthy. I am healing. Hi, Charlotte. Hi, Larry. How are you guys? Please put hi in the comments, and that way more people in the group will remember that it's starting. Thank you very much. So we just want to set the intention, but as it's, you already believe. So what do you desire? I desire to be healthy. I desire, hi Marilyn, I desire to be whole. I desire to be at peace. I desire to, what is it? ... So put it in the comments and claim it, own it as it already is, because it's that phrase that we have heard throughout our lifetime. If you have any connection with any kind of church, is ask and you shall receive. So the asking part, God, universe, source, your higher power has already heard your internal thoughts, your intentions, what you want and what you desire, and they start getting components together so that you can receive it. The receiving part is where we need to do the work, and we don't always do it well. And this will also be part of this conversation. So if there's anything that comes up for you in the next 3 days that you're not certain about, or you would want more clarity around, or you want to have a deeper conversation around it, I am here for you. So please don't hesitate to share. And Marilyn saying she desires to be free, blessed, and at peace. Amen. And free from what? Let's go deeper on that one. Okay. So then the other thing is that we want to not only set an intention, but then again, there's an expectation that it's already done. And this is why you state comments and affirmations as I am wealthy, I am healthy, I am healed, I am ... So we want to say it as it already is. It's already done, free from trauma and pain. There you go. Specific, which is important because free is different for different people, right? So when we get that clarity, then we're putting that clarity out in the universe. So it's just like an Amazon situation. You ask Amazon, let's say you're looking for socks. So you're going to put socks in the the little question box where it will pull up all the socks, but you can't just order socks. You have to order what you want, which is maybe a black sock, maybe a dressy sock, maybe a fun sock, maybe it's a Christmas themed sock, maybe it's this and maybe it's that. So that's why we want to get so clear with what we're intending, and the intention will then follow through, because this will be what we pay attention to, and this will call in what we want. I hope that makes sense. So before we get started, I'm Tina Hull. I am your host for today and the next 3 days. I have done this masterclass a couple of times. It has changed as I have changed, as my knowledge, as my growth and evolution has changed. So it is not the same information from the past at all. And if you, again, want me to talk about specific things, then please let me know. If the more you participate, the more you show up, the more you engage, the more I can help you. So I am a coach and a healer, and I've been doing it for the last 3 to 5 years. And I've been in the wellness industry for 30 as a massage therapist. And so I have seen a lot when it comes to healing and health. And so if you have physical health, put that in the comment, physical health that you want to focus around. So Marilyn already said trauma. If it's mental health, like anxiety, overwhelm, depression, then put that in the comments. If it's spiritual health that you're looking for, then put that in the comments as well. It helps me hone in on the group as a collective, and it also will build on each other, and it will apply to everything. It's just that sometimes wording needs to be a little different for one situation through another. If you're coming out of an emotionally abusive relationship or toxic relationship, then there's going to be some more understanding around that. So what I also want you to be aware of is this is just housework, physical and emotional health. Hi, Jennifer. Is that, again, this is 3 days. It's going to be the same hour every day, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So put it in your calendars. And I do encourage you to try to do all 3 days unless you have something already pre-booked. Watch it again, because you are not the same person that came in here and watched it the first time. And I've been doing master classes for a long time. I've participated in them. I've been I follow them. I've done them. And it's amazing how you hear things the second time. You're like, did she say that the first time? And we don't realize it. And that's okay. So we really want to allow ourselves to be open to the information. So the other thing is being open. I want you to be a student. So don't come with the past awarenesses that you have had and learnings and teachings, and you find yourself kind of tuning out the information. It's really interesting dynamic. But if you come in as a student and you're open to listening and to hearing things the first time and the second time, if you watch it again, or the third, then it will land differently each time. And when it lands differently, it's giving you more information. So it's just really important for us to understand that. The other thing is, if you find yourself saying, yeah, but you're fighting for your limitation. And I really want you to either put it in the comments, so when you go back over it, you actually see where the first time around your yabba came in. And that's something that you need to focus on, you need to heal, you need to journal about, and really investigate. So this is all about curiosity and awareness. So we're going to be the investigators of our minds mostly, and our bodies secondarily, of what we're thinking, saying, stories that we're telling ourselves and to other people, the beliefs that we have, the identity that we're carrying and being, and how we are moving through life. And we want to become hyper vigilant with all of this when we want to really shift and change on a big scale. And I've been doing this for the last couple of months myself, going through what I call a spiritual quest and really diving deep into that inner part of me so that I can heal my money story is what's going on with me. Not much, some with relationship, but that's more in the past. And I've healed a lot of that. So we want to know that things are in our control. That's the beautiful part of it. So what got you here is old identity, which will change after this conversation into a new identity. And by the end of the 3 days, you will not be the same person that you came in here as, which is great because we always want to grow and expand and evolve. So before we get started, what I want you to do is take a couple nice deep breaths. Close your eyes, put your hand on your belly or on your heart or both. Inhale through your nose for a count of 4, hold for a count of 4, and exhale for a count of 6. And then pause for a few breaths and then do it again. Pulling all your energies back from your to-do list, from any conversations that have been ruminating in your mind, any things that have been weighing heavy on you, calling your energy back, just like little stars coming back into your body, filling your energy back up. Feel the weight of the day melting off your shoulders as you take a nice deep breath in. This takes you out of the vagus nerve activation and putting you into the rest and digest part of your nervous system. Feel your body soften into the space beneath you. Bring your awareness into your heart space. And imagine a golden light flickering there. Your truth, your essence, your inner knowing. And on your next breath, imagine that light expanding with love and light, filling up your chest, your body, your energetic field, reminding you you are safe, you're supported, and you're guided. And you've chosen to be here for a reason. Your soul said yes long before your mind did. Take a nice deep breath and let it all go. And when you're ready, open your eyes, maybe wiggle your toes and your fingers. So, let's begin. What does healing from the inside out really mean? So, I heard this phrase many years ago, and I didn't have an understanding of this at all. I'm like, heal from the inside. What are you talking about? So we're probably more aware of these things now than we were back when I started this journey. So what can happen, well, what does happen is this is part of the universe and the universal laws, is that what goes on inside our minds, our hearts, our bodies is projecting and reflecting what's going on the outside. So what shows up on your outside, is a reflection of what's going on your inside. So if you think I'm poor, I'm unhealthy, I'm lonely, whatever the thought is, then you have it on repeat usually, and it's locked in at the subconscious mind. So then the universe is going to go, yep, you are. So we're going to give you more things to feel all of that. So it's the law of attraction, law of manifestation. So everything that you do is going to reflect your outside world. Everything you think, you feel, the stories you tell, the beliefs that you have, and your identity. So if you see yourself as a victim, then everything in your world will look and feel like you are a victim. Okay? So what we want to do is shift all of that so that our inside is now going to magnetize what we really want, desire, which is the freedom from trauma and pain and peace and being blessed. The freedom of physical and emotional, physical and emotional health. So we want to have that understanding so that we can be magnets to what we actually want and desire. And this can get very deep and not always understood properly. So if I am saying I want to be healthy, then we want to get more clear, healthy in what area, because health can be emotional, mental, physical, it can be spiritual, it could be sexual, it could be monetary, financial health as well. It could be relationships. It could be a number of things. So get more specific in your desire, and then you put it out into the world. And when you are talking about it, you talk about it in a positive, uplifting light, like it's already done and it's already here and it's already happening. Now, it can get tricky because we have our senses. So I might overlap in some of this because this just feel like it's coming through for me right now. So I tend to channel at the same time that I'm having the conversation. So hopefully this will flow. And I apologize if I repeat myself. So when we're putting out there all these things, we've got to know that we're going to attract it back. So if I say, I hate my life, what do you think you're going to attract? Things that are going to make you hate your life. If you say things like, this really sucks, then what's you going to attract? Things that really suck. If you say things in your mind that, oh, I'm having a really hard time, okay, universe goes abracadabra. Let's put some hard time things in there. So it is not selective. We are master manifestors of all of it, the good and the bad. That can be a little disheartening with the first time I understood this. I'm like, damn. I didn't want to think that I was part of that equation. I thought the universe is out there, it's doing its thing, but it's not doing its thing in a good way. No, it's in response to us. So this is why we have to get hyper vigilant with what we're saying and thinking and feeling and speaking and sharing with other people, and stories that we tell, again, ourselves and other people, and how we see ourselves. So how you want to see yourselves is in the healed space. What does your life look like then? We'll go through that, but just want to put it out there. So we want to heal at the root, not the surface. We heal where trauma lived. We heal where the stories were formed. We heal where the body stored what the mind could not process. And we heal at the level of the soul, not the senses. So my understanding, and this is my understanding, so if your truth is different than my truth, that's fine. So at one point, for me, growing up in a church and religion, God was something that was way out there. My understanding now is God is our soul selves. It's part of us. It is, and again, if you don't like the word God, I'm going to use it. You can put source, universe, higher power, soul, whatever works for you. Okay? Try not to get caught up in the vocabulary too much. And that soul self is going to be working to actually get you what you desire. And when we don't feel good, it's because we're doing, saying, thinking, believing things that aren't connected to our soul self. So we're out of alignment with what we actually say we want and desire. And there's no judgment, there's no criticism. This is all awareness. That is really, I want you to be clear on that, because this is just learning. It might be completely new, and if it's new to you, this is why it's so important for you to listen over and over again, because then it will land in a different way. So our inside reflects the outside world. So this is why I started my spiritual quest, because my outside world was showing me lack of money struggles, lack of clients, lack of business growth, and it was just going down, down, down. And I decided that I was done with that, and I was going to go on. Well, I thought, I didn't know it was going to be a quest. I didn't know it was going to be a long time, but I did a lot of generational healing through the whole thing. I did a lot of internal healing, and my mind now believes with no gap that I am abundant and wealthy and thriving. That is my new story. So we want to see what our old story is and journal on that. That'll be part of your homework, to see what your new story will become. Sometimes we have to look at what we don't want in order to figure out what we do want. So if you're unwell and you're in lack of health, you're out of alignment with your soul self. What does that look like? Well, I remember coming out of university, and I was looking for a job, and I had put on a few pounds, and for some reason that was okay for me, because I'd been probably a little underweight with all the stress coming out of university. And I put on 5 pounds. And I remember having a very clear thought when I looked at that bag of chips that was there calling my name. It's only another couple of pounds. And I didn't say no to it. And I had another bag of chips. And then I think it was like 5 pounds later, I'm like, oh, why did I do that? because taking it off and healing from unwellness is harder than to be aware of what we were doing and then move forward. So if you are not in a space where you're in really bad situation, then this is a good time to listen to this information. So most people think healing is just mental work, thinking differently, affirming differently, journaling differently. And although it's part of the equation, it's not the only part. So healing from the inside out isn't just mental. It's cellular, it's energetic, it's emotional, and it's identity level work. And healing from the inside out is when you stop rearranging the furniture in the house and finally clear the house. So if you think that, if I have that Diet Coke instead of Coke, then that's going to be enough. It's not. If it looks like only having one bag of chips a week instead of not, then it's going to make a difference in your weight. I'm just giving weight because that's what's coming up. So it is really our choice. And we need to make decisions based on what we really want. And we are, as human beings, generally not taught how to do these things and be this way. So we are a little weak and we're out of practice and we aren't always disciplined enough to actually move forward. I hope you guys are getting this. If it's landing, say yes. I'm not sure if the comments aren't working anymore or just I'm not saying anything that you need to put in. So when we stop managing symptoms, which generally the health system does, then we begin to release the actual root. It's when we stop trying to fix our life from the outside by hustling, by perfecting, by overgiving, by controlling, and finally go inside ourselves. Ask our bodies and our souls what we want and need to do. And into the parts of you that are never allowed to speak, that's when things change. It's meeting your body when it's holding fear, shame, hypervigilance, grief, survival responses, the stories that you told yourself about yourself, and the identities you adapted to stay safe. It's releasing the versions of you that were created through the trauma so the real you can finally breathe. So I call this unremembering. When we were young, and usually before we're 7, we had a tendency to filter through our child minds all the things that were said to us, that were done to us, that everything affected us because we didn't know any different. So we would, if we were told we were dumb or stupid, or maybe we were physically abused, or if we were made to feel bad because we did something or we were shamed or made to feel guilty because we did certain things. This also becomes part of our subconscious thinking. So the thoughts that you think over time get into a habit, and then it becomes a belief, and it gets locked in at the subconscious level in your brain. And then all those thoughts are running your subconscious and usually the show of your life. So this might be where you've tried certain things, you've done certain things, and you don't understand why it's not changing and shifting. There's probably a subconscious belief in there that you've got locked in. Usually it's one of 3: I'm not worthy, I'm not deserving, or I'm not good enough. And those thoughts run the show. It could be others. and it's usually multiple ones. So what happens is our brain is made up of 95% of our subconscious minds. Now, those negative thoughts make up most of that 95%, which sucks. And the good news is it can change. So when you have the old thoughts and you start to see them consciously and hear them and address them and shift them from the negative to the positive or change the messaging, then those new thoughts become not part of that 95% of your brain, which is awesome. This is the goal, is to change the old way we're thinking, the old mindset, the old stories, beliefs, all of it, into what is true. So when I say unremember, I picture this person, and I'll show the graphic that came up on my feed one day of this woman who was like she was being sculpted, except she had all this clay on her body, and the sculptor was actually chunking it off. Because we get bogged down with layers and layers and layers of stuff from our childhood, from our adolescence. Maybe we were picked on and we were bullied by not just family members, but people outside of us. We were told different things over time that made us feel all these things and think a certain way about ourselves, which were untrue. So one of my mentors, Melanie Ann Lair, always says, you were born worthy and nothing has changed. You don't look at a baby and say, oh, they're stupid. They're this, they're that, they're this, they're that. No. Usually it's, oh, isn't she cute? Isn't she pretty? Isn't she gorgeous? Isn't she this, that, the other thing? We're born worthy and nothing has changed. So I really want you to feel that in your body and know that is true. So you cannot think your way out of pain. You cannot affirm your way out of trauma. And you cannot mindset your way out of the old patterns you've inherited. But you can feel your way out. You can reconnect with your body and the part of you that remembers every moment you disconnected to stay alive. So we went into survival mode. And there's been a lot of trauma for a lot of people with this generation, more so, and probably our parents' generation, possibly our children, but most likely a lot of it's going to end with us. Hopefully, fingers crossed, because we're doing a lot of work and a lot of healing for our generation. So you need to reconnect with your body, that part of you that remembers every moment that you disconnected to stay alive. And we have this disconnection, especially if we are in physical pain. As a massage therapist, I see it all the time with people who've had breast cancer and they disconnect from the area that was affected, and the front and the back of the body, they stop breathing into it. Or chronic low back pain or gut pain. You're not breathing and giving life force energy into the area. So if it resonates with you, there's things that you have to do. Breath is life. If it's our life force energy. So for healing from the inside out is you finally saying, I'm done surviving and I'm ready to live. Feel that in your body. Okay. So we're going to do a somatic activation and return to your body. Again, place your hands on your lower belly and feel the hand expand away from your body. Feel the ribs expand and the upper chest expand. Take the breath into your ribs, your hips, and your legs. And imagine your body whispering, I remember. I am ready. I am safe. Hi, Teresa. I remember. I am ready. I am safe. Nice deep breath. I remember. I am ready. I am safe. Now, if your body could speak freely, what would it say it needs? Did you hear any messages? It's a good insight, Jennifer. You're diagnosed with glaucoma energetically. You think your body is telling you to look at things in your life that you haven't wanted to see. Quite possibly. And it doesn't have to mean much, right? Like these days, glaucoma is nothing. You go in, it's a day surgery. You come back out. You need, I think, eye drops for a couple days and you're good to go. So we don't want to put emotions around these things because negative emotion just amplifies it even more and locks it in at the cellular level. So the gap between where you are and where you desire to be. What do you desire? You desire wellness, peace, freedom, ease, a body that feels like home, a heart that feels grounded, a mind that feels spacious. And your job, your only job, is to align to the frequency of wellness. So this I found challenging when I was going through it. What does frequency of wellness feel like? So what will you feel? This is how you figured that out. What do you think you feel? Or remember in the past how you felt when you were well, whatever that looks like, mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually. And what do you remember feeling? So was it happiness, joy, freedom, blessed, grateful, all of those things? That is what you start to try to align to. So you feel those feelings more and more every day, all day. And the more you can feel those feelings, that will start to align you to your wellness. That's how you bridge the gap between where you are right now and where your soul is leading you. So our emotions, our thoughts, our feelings, our stories that we tell ourselves, the beliefs and the identity all have a frequency. We're all putting it out there. It's all emitted vibration. And so when we're saying negative things about ourselves, our bodies, our life situation, then that is what we're attracting and that is what we're going to manifest. So that doesn't close the gap, it widens the gap. So if your desire is to be healthy, whatever that looks like for you, then you have your belief. Now, this is where the fun part is. What is your belief? That it's hard, it's going to be difficult, I have to give up things, it'll never work for me, I've tried and it doesn't work, or it will never work, or I've been working on myself for so long and hasn't changed now, so it never will. What are those beliefs that you have? And you're going to do this homework tonight. You're going to write them down and you're going to cross them out after you realize that they're all untrue. And the reason why they're untrue is because there's evidence out there in the world that you can heal, that you can get healthy, that people have healed from cancer, people have healed their anxiety and overwhelm, that people have healed from their strokes, people have healed from emotional turmoil. We are the limitation. We are the gap. We are the wobble in the whole equation. And this is where we have to get into alignment with the thoughts, with the feelings and the emotions. So if you've got a negative feeling, you wake up in the morning, you're feeling negative, I can almost guarantee you that before you went to bed, you ruminated over your day or the last couple of days, especially if you've had an argument with somebody or something bad didn't go, or something bad happened or things didn't go well, and you're making it mean something. And that gets replayed through your sleep and you wake up in that energy. So then you stub your toe. And of course, your mind goes, see, I told you it's going to be an awful day. And then because you stub your toe and you're feeling bad, you get maybe a little forgetful or you're angry and you forgot to do something, which makes you late. And so now you're frustrated and angry and bitter and pissed off at the world because now you're late and you're going into the office late and now your boss is going to have a word with you. So this is how your day can unravel. Or before you go to bed at night, you can go into a gratitude list and really feel it in your body. All the things that are working in your body right now, if your physical health is an issue. All the things that are working really well with your mind right now, if your mind is an issue. All the feelings all the things you can be grateful about your journey, day-to-day life, your children, your spouse, home over your head, clothes on your back, food in your mouth, water to drink. Look for the things to be grateful for. And then when you go to sleep, your mind through the night will start to pull in more things to be grateful for. And then you wake up in a good mood, go through another gratitude list. These are small, simple practices, but they're extremely effective. I did this when I was really going through a really tough time right after my separation, and this helped me on a grand scale because I didn't allow myself to go into that negative downward spiral. I wasn't, jovial and all excited and happy and whatnot because I had separated from my spouse and things were progressing badly, unfortunately. And I allowed myself to feel the feelings when I needed to feel them. Allow yourself to feel the negative feelings. Take a nice deep breath, observe it, become the investigator. Oh, is that interesting? I wonder why I'm thinking that, or I wonder why I'm feeling that, because the feeling isn't your GPS. It's your indicator that something you're thinking is negative, especially if nothing has happened over the last couple of days. And you're like, oh, I wonder why that's happening. So let's pull up a conscious thought or become more aware of what you're thinking throughout the day, and then it will come. There was this time, and I don't even know why I did this, but I had this thought. I was playing with the manifestation stuff that I wonder if I could be happy and broke. Why? And it was such a passing thought, I didn't even consciously register it. And so then I got cancellations. There were no bookings coming in. My money was dwindling. I think I got an extra bill. And all this stuff was going on. And I'm like, what is going on? And then I realized, gratefully, that I had that thought. So I'm like, no, 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 cancel, cancel, cancel. And I look forward to having a fully booked practice, and everything's working out for me. Now you've got to say and feel these things. You can't just, it's not just words. You've got to put the emotion behind it. And so then things start to shift. Just so you know, it can be that simple. Not upset about the diagnosis. Drops for now. Quick laser procedure if I need it. Good. Just reminding us, because what can happen when we get any kind of diagnosis is we can go into freak out mode. And I've been there and I've done it. And I also knew that I couldn't stay in it because it was going to attract more to me that was not going to be well. Okay. So we want to fine tune our energy, our body, our vibration, and our identity to the truth that exists inside of us. So every pattern, belief, story, emotion, loop that you've been carrying came from an old identity. And that identity you created to survive, the identity that protected you. It's the identity that has helped you make it through your hardest seasons. But that identity cannot bring you into the healing you desire. So today's work is simple. We're setting the old identity down. We're not going to fight it. We're going to thank it. Thank you for being here. Thank you for getting me here. And you're going to just decide that you're going to put it down. And you can literally feel the energy of your old identity and put it down beside you. And decide that that's not who you are going to be anymore. You're going to let it rest. And if you want to pick it up again, you can. Put your hand on your heart and just say, thank you for getting me here. I release you now, and I'm ready for who I am becoming. So this is now about becoming the version of you that is healthy, that is free, that has peace, that has joy. So I want you to journal tonight. Where in my body do I still feel the imprint of survival? Chest, jaw, ribs, stomach, hips, thighs, whatever it is. What identities have I carried that never really belonged to me? So, being married to a narcissist, I was told constantly I wasn't a good wife, that I wasn't a good mother, that I was this, that, and the other thing. For most part, I was strong enough not to believe those things. And there were some that were repeated enough that I locked it in. So I had to really release a lot of that in order for me to then become a different version of me. The truth of me. Remember, we want to unremember all the stuff that's been put on us, all the things we've been told or made to feel. And then ask yourself, I'll put these all in the group so you don't have to write it down. What would feel different in my body if I allowed myself to release what no longer serves me? Does it serve you to keep telling yourself that you're never going to get well? Does it serve you to keep telling yourself that you're tired and exhausted? Does it serve you to keep telling yourself that everything is working for everybody else but not for me? Does it serve you to tell yourself these stories and have these beliefs? I would think not. You're here for a reason, and that reason is to shift, grow, evolve, and change. Because what got you here is not going to get you to where you want to go. So we need to put that old version of us down and step into the new. And it is going to be uncomfortable. And we are going to be tested. And what the ego mind wants to do is pull you back, because comfort zone is where you've been, who you've been. So we've got to keep pulling ourselves back and keeping ourselves moving forward instead of going backwards into the old comfort zone. So if you are working on different aspects of yourself and you find yourself falling backwards, and you know that phrase, 2 steps forward, 5 steps back, this is what's going on. The ego mind is winning. And again, it's all about awareness. There's no judgment, there's no criticism, just be aware. So then the other things you want to ask yourself, what thoughts are you repeating? And this is going to just be the next couple days, just really consciously listen to what you're saying and catch it and then write it down. What feelings are sitting in your body? Is there anger, frustration, aggravation? I was working with a client who had been abused as a child, and she, on many levels, everything that you can think of happened to her. And she, at 20 years old, had an IUD, and the doctors didn't listen to her when she said that she didn't feel good about keeping the IUD in. So they kept it in a year longer than they should have, or something along that lines. And she got mercury poisoning. That mercury poisoning then led to her being in a wheelchair for months. Eventually she had double crutches. So she had the ones that are kind of braced on your forearms, so she can use it like walking sticks. And when I met her, she was still using those crutches. And she had been doing a lot of her own mindset work, but things were not progressing. So we did the energy work. And within a couple of months, not years, months, she was walking down to the pharmacy and back without any support at all. And the reason why is a lot of it was she held a lot of hate, anger, and disgust with her legs and towards certain people. And all of it is understandable. This is just how the human works. So we want to more go towards our guided selves. Like, what does your intuition tell you? When you sit in the morning and you put your hand on your heart and you ask your body what it needs today. Listen, it has the answers. We have an inner physician. We are the problem and the solution. The answers are all within us. I heard this great analogy by one of the mentors that I follow, and she said, we are like the seed, and we were born a seed, and the seed has all the DNA, all the purpose, passion, and things that are going to have the most amazing life. We just have to tap into that. Just like planting a seed in the soil, it has all the makings of an oak tree. Can you imagine a little tiny seed? You plant in the soil, you put water on it, you make sure that it's a healthy soil, sun on it, and it ends up being this oak tree that might live for 100+ years. Or we're not planting, we're not taking care of the soil of our lives. So that it's allowing what is meant to come through, the truth of who we really are, to actually be. So what stories do you keep telling yourself? And if you're not sure, ask a friend or a partner, what do you say all the time? If you're courageous enough to do so. I challenge you to do that, because I'm certain that you say things over and over again and you're not even consciously aware of it. I was working with a client the other day, and they said something that was like really bad, in my opinion. And they made themselves out to be, so there's a lot of miscommunication sometimes in the spiritual world of attraction. So when I'm talking about attraction, you don't ask to be abused. That's not what I'm saying. Now, there's a part of you that resonates with something to do with the abuse, to call it in. And this was a tough pill for me to swallow. And I was trying to understand it, because I'm trying to figure out why I attracted my narcissistic husband. And the reality is there was a part of me that either didn't feel good enough, not worthy, and not deserving, and probably all three. And so that's what I attracted. Someone who's going to make me feel like that eventually. And I was so desperate to be loved and to be needed and to be in a relationship that I allowed myself to fall for his love bombing. So just start to see. Just start to investigate. Get curious. And no judgment. Have compassion with yourself. It doesn't mean that you're a bad person. It doesn't mean you're wrong. It doesn't mean that because then what we do is we gaslight ourselves. And then we go into this judgment. And then we get guilt and shame because we shouldn't have felt it and shouldn't have this and shouldn't have that. Take shit out of your vocabulary. Okay? What beliefs are you carrying, and who am I being right now? Because whether you realize it or not, beliefs shape our frequency, and frequency shapes our reality. Okay, so I will put those questions in the group. If you have any questions for me, or you need me to clarify anything, then please let me know. I'm going to do a little grounding before we leave, and then day 2 tomorrow is releasing what the body has carried. So we needed to have some foundational information so we can really tap into that, and then tomorrow we're going to go deeper. And I hope that this helped move you forward. So taking a nice last deep breath. Imagine any heaviness that this has brought up. Any of the old thoughts, stories, beliefs, identity, any heaviness. See it gently dissolve into the earth beneath you through your feet. You don't need to hold it anymore. And you certainly don't need to carry it into tomorrow. Reminding yourself you are safe, you are held, and you're returning home to your soul self, the self that is healthy, the self that is in peace, the self that is healed, the self that is in love, self that is in loving life, has an extraordinary life, the self that is in flow. Take a nice deep breath. Feel all of that into your body. So with the energy work, you may feel tired. You may feel like there's not much you want to do over the next little while, half hour or so. Drink lots of water to process it. Allow yourself to feel the feelings that are coming up. Journal about it. Answer those questions. This is about you and for you. The more work you do, the more you're going to get out of this program. I have learned a long time ago not to get attached to what you do or don't do. I give you homework for your benefit. You do the homework, fantastic. You don't do the homework, fantastic. So, have a blessed night. I hope this landed. I hope that you got some good information and that it will help you move forward on your journey. And I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. If you have any comments, please leave it in the group, and any questions also. And if you would like to invite other people into this program and you think that they need to hear this information, you are very welcome to invite it. I think at the top on the right side of the page, there's an invite, and you just type their name in. Now, I think if I'm not friends with them, they will not get an invitation. So I might have to friend them first, or let them know that I'm going to friend them, and then you can do it. Try it first. I'm not sure. Maybe they changed it since the last time I tried it. But the last time I did this, that's the case. Facebook changes all the time, so we're just going to work with it. Have a blessed evening, ladies. It is going to dump a lot of rain over here soon. Take care. God bless you. Good night.